only I could lighten her grace's heart. In this dark hour, I became the queen's counsellor, setting aside my full sceptre and pointed hat to lend her all my wisdom and compassion. Unbeknownst to all, it was the jester who ruled them now, an invisible king in Motley. Now, that's a quote from Mushroom, and that takes place during the Dance of the Dragons, or better known as the House of the Dragon, the up-and-coming Game of Thrones prequel series. In this video, I want to discuss how important his character is. Now, I'm not going to get in too much in depth, as this is going to be a short video, but I basically want to cover 3 different things that I think we all need to know before going into this new series. Along that... Now, for those who are unaware, Mushroom is basically this new series show version of Tyrion. Now, I say show version and not book version of Tyrion because the book version of Tyrion in A Song of Ice and Fire is far more manipulating. He connives a lot more. He's a bit more of the gray character, whereas this version in the later seasons becomes pretty black and white. He's like for Daenerys, and then he's for his family, and then it's a mix of the two. It's not so much like we don't really know his true intentions, at least where he's at in the book series. So in this new series in House of the Dragon, this character Mushroom is basically a very similar version of the show version in the earlier and later seasons in this new series. Now, I know that sounds confusing as fuck, but he's basically a counselor. Like, he has the same sense of wit and humor that Tyrion does, but a lot of people don't take him serious. So that means he's privy to a lot of information. So he may be present in a similar amount of meetings that Tyrion would have in a typical day in King's Landing, but the difference is that Tyrion takes part in those meetings, and Mushroom more so just listens in the background, maybe brings the wine, maybe tells a joke if he can tell that the energy in the room is feeling intense or someone's feeling sad. Now, it's noted that he was able to bring Rhaenyra joy in times where she was at her most depressed. So I think basically that leads me into my first point, is that a lot of people were saying that they're going to avoid having a dwarf character on the television series, or a little person. I'm not sure what the PC term is, but basically they would avoid doing that because this version, or this Mushroom character, is very demeaning, and because he's an actual fool and a jester, he gets treated like shit, and they wouldn't want to show that in this new series because it would be unnecessary violence. And to anyone who says that, well, I say, hold the fuck up. Which show are you actually watching? Like, obviously, there's been characters, actresses that are playing characters in this new series, like Olivia Cook, that have commented and said there's not going to be gratuitous violence towards women, for sure, but there will be violence. And if I'm not mistaken, in George's stories, it doesn't matter if it's male or female or any race. It doesn't matter. No one is spared from a horrible ending. That's what makes Game of Thrones so great. You fall in love with these characters in a matter of 30 minutes, and you're like, oh, wow, I can't wait to see what they're going to do on this series. And then, bam, they're fucking dead. So that's my first point, is that Mushroom has to be included in this show, like sort of staying away from that because they're afraid of what would happen in the backlash and all that shit. That's not going to do anything but make less people watch your series. I think one thing that we can take away from the first Game of Thrones series, at least the earlier seasons, the tit ratio on screen, that's what made me fall in love with the show, is giant fucking titties all the time. There'll be less of that in this new series. There's no need for it. Game of Thrones is an established name, so House of the Dragon won't need to hire amateur porn stars to have walking in and out, dick slinging and titty swinging. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should be getting Mushroom in this new series. He hasn't been spotted in any of the filming that we've seen so far, but he could still be taking part in meetings, which will be filmed indoors to keep those secret as which actors are taking part in that scene. I mean, there are several particular moments earlier on in the history of A Dance with Dragons where if certain characters at a certain meeting, we could see, oh, okay, this is where a more accurate timeline of where they're going to be at in the first season. As of right now, I'm not exactly sure who would play such a role, but I do know that the actor, since this is such a crazy, intense part at moments during this series, I think they should get a fresh face, someone who's relatively unknown. I'm not that familiar with Dwarven or Little People actors down below, so let me know down below in the comments section who do y'all recommend to play Mushroom, the court jester / fool. Now, one thing that they could do, I guess, to sort of stray away from the controversy of like abusing a midget on screen, would actually be to cast someone in a role that is like either a super minor role in the books or just a new character altogether and give them the events and things that happen in Mushroom's timeline and make this person sort of like a behind the scenes sort of thing, and then they have a small role at first and that role becomes bigger and we realize, okay, this is this show's version of Mushroom because they wanted to stay away from it. I don't know, you all let me know what you think down below in the comment sections. I have to go. Thank you all so much for watching. My name's Mark and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. Oh shit, oh yeah, the like goal's gonna be 420. You and me will all go down in history with a sad statue of liberty in a generation that didn't agree. Pepperoni and green mushrooms, peppers, olives, chives.